Hello there, it's Simone. Welcome to a Journal with Me video in my Hobonichi Cousin. This is the third part of a long journaling session that I had in May. So this is how long this has been on my hard drive. But I'm finally getting to recording the voiceover, and I feel a lot more confident in voicing over the video than I have been the last two times that I recorded one. The last time I was recording a voiceover for 3 or 4 times until it was halfway decent. Um, I'm just continuing on. I took some breaks in between, but this page, or the top part of this page, you were able to see me create during um, last week's journal with me. I wrote about the great fountain pen debacle of May, I think. I was debating of getting two new fountain pens, the Lilac Twisby Echo that I actually got with a 1.1 stub nib, and then I also really fell in love with the Kaweco All-Star in the color Espresso. It just I'm a coffee lover. I work in a coffee shop. I love coffee. I love making coffee. And so I felt like that was calling my name. However, before I had one Kaweco, same model, just not in aluminum, and I didn't like it. I didn't like the size, and I especially didn't like how it wrote. So I was a bit hesitant, and I'm glad I did not purchase the All Star because I was able to test one out, or at least hold it in my hand. And when I had it in my hand, I was like, no, no, this pen is just not for you. Admire it from a distance, and that's totally fine. So I did not. However, I actually went ahead and purchased a pen on a whim during the Independence Day sale from Endless Pens. And that is a totally different pen that I normally use. I was still very much in the beginner range fountain pens. And I love them, but that just called my name, and so I got it, and I will see how that is going to work out. So I journaled about the envelopes that I did during the month of May and probably April as well. So I took different stamp sets, usually three, and combined them. So I tried to have different font heights, different types of alpha sets. I really have lots of alpha stamps. That's just something that I fall for all the time. I love them. And so I was able to pick and choose from different sets and combine them to look really interesting and fun. I made sure that the bottom, like the street address as well as the city and state, would be very legible, and that I wouldn't take really weird stamp sets. But for the name, that could be something really fun and a little bit off from the usual alpha stamps. And then I would choose three different ink pads. I have a huge variety of actually, I have all of them. The Ranger archival inks. And so I have the whole color spectrum. So I was able to choose some from the same color family. Like I would choose three different types of green, going more into the blue sector, or I would pick reds and oranges and yellows. And that was a lot of fun. So, especially when you're not really into creating, because well, we all are into creating. I'm talking about being into creating and being like thinking about what you're going to do, creating a layout or a spread like I'm doing here. If you're just too pumped, but you do still want to play, stamping an envelope with office stamps and yeah, is fun because you get to be creative, but it's not something that uses a lot of brain space, if you know what I mean. So I am working on the next spread. I really loved the design of these of this packaging, and also the what was written on the card. What is it? Business card from Traveler's Company. I told myself that I was not going to buy any of the B-Sides and rarities at all when they came out, because I'm not currently, or at that time, right now I'm actually using a standard traveler's notebook as my mail journal, but I was not actively using the passport or the standard size traveler's notebooks. So I felt like just buying something because it is said to be a sparse, limited item when I don't actually use the notebooks at the moment would be really stupid, and that I could use my money somewhere else. But I was strong. I stayed strong for a while, but then I went back and forth. I saw people unbox the folders, the canvas folders, and I remember the feeling that I had when other Travelers Company must have had a collab with Faroof a long time ago, before I actually really got into the whole Traveler's Notebook stuff. And that I always eyed those and thought, that would be so cool to have. And so after I saw people unbox these folders, I decided, yeah, I might not be using a Traveler's Notebook right now, but the chance that I will be using one is pretty big, and I will definitely be missing those. So I went ahead and purchased one, the orange one in the standard size, and the yellow one in the passport size, and decided that that was an investment into my journaling future. And I actually wrote about I wrote FOMO. This is a purchase that was not necessary, but I really had to have it because I thought that I was going to miss out in the future and that I would be sad if I didn't have them. And to be completely open, I started using a traveler's notebook not shortly after for my mail or happy mail journal, which I still need to share on this channel. And I am really glad I got the folder because I'm actually using it in that setup. So yes, that purchase was a really good one. So, if you have been watching the 3-part journaling session that I'm filming the voiceover for right now, for the last part, then you know that what I did during the month of April, and I think maybe the beginning of May, not 100% sure, is that I took these little teeny tiny yellow post-it notes that you saw me stick into the monthly section earlier. And the idea behind it was that I was going to write about some events, some feelings, things that happened during the time that I didn't have enough time to write, to sit down and create and write. But for some reason, that didn't work out. The idea is really brilliant. I still like it a lot. To just write myself some remember notes. And I do remember what happened, but I just am not satisfied with the way that I'm documenting in after the fact. So for events, I feel that I don't really need to write down, I went there, did that, it was great. I have that in my planner. I usually write a tiny summary of my day in the monthly section of this Hobonichi Cousin. Originally, I did that so that I could go into my weeks and do a weekly documentation, which I haven't been doing since March, since I moved. And just being open and clear, I'm totally okay with that. That's not something that bothers me at the moment. So I do have a snippet of the day, and I do have written down that I did a hike. So I don't need to document that. What I would love to document about the hike is how strenuous it was, how I was didn't want to go, but then when I was there, I felt so good that I actually went and that I made myself go there. You know, these are the things that I would like to read when I journal about it in depth, but when I sit down and try to catch up on those sticky notes, it's not happening. So that is not working for me. And I really am very grateful to everyone who gave some ideas and suggestions. Currently, I'm not thinking about that. I'm just so busy that I'm letting go of all journaling expectations at all. I'm not going to stress about it because I get anxiety from having such high expectations of myself. And so I'm deciding to take a step back and just do whatever I can and enjoy the moment. And when I get back to this, then that is awesome. Thank you so much for watching. The video is over now. I have one more video that I can share. And then we'll see how this is going to continue. Thank you so much. I will see you next Saturday. Until then, bye.